All right, y'all, here I am, this time with Jason from Sow the Land. Anybody that's acquainted with this channel knows that I'm a big fan of this man here because numerous people, including the people at Making It in Nashville, were saying, hey, where's your Sow the Land t-shirt, which I wear quite a few times in the videos because I've been inspired in many ways by the guy sitting next to me. You know, right now, I feel like Tito and this is Michael. So, so I'm with Jason.
Yeah.
I'm with Jason, and I just sat through his class here at the Organic Growers Convention in Mars Hill, North Carolina, which, by the way, is we live down the road from here. And I've been to a number of events that you've been at,
Yeah.
Homesteaders of America, and also this one. And every single time I've missed your digital, your online digital class. And today I'm realizing so many mistakes that I've been making in terms of how I go about the YouTube channel, how I even started the YouTube channel, which I consulted you from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And so for the people out there who are wondering, hey, how do I get started? Where should I begin in terms of maybe some of the farming how-tos and stuff they're going to get from a variety of channels, but not every day do I have the opportunity to sit down with somebody who's successfully had a YouTube channel and other ventures in this. Where does somebody even start? Like, let's say you're talking to me,
Right.
and I'm a person who's never done this before, and they're thinking about having a YouTube presence. Where do they start? Where's step one?
I would say step one would be start with your phone. Everyone has an iPhone. I would start with that and see even if you like having a YouTube channel. Like, it's not for everybody, but since everyone does have a phone, I would start doing that. Don't be super. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know, just start posting content with your phone, and you know, it can be super simple and basic, and then go from there and see if you even like doing it.
Now, are there any technical concerns a person should have now? So they have a phone. Now you're a Luddite like me. You barely know how to operate that phone or a computer for that matter.
Right.
What additional things should they have? Do they need microphones? Do they need a computer? Is this something that could be done on the phone?
Right. If you have an iPhone, yeah, you can actually edit a movie through iMovie, which I use iMovie to edit all my videos. But I don't do it on my phone. I do it on a computer, and iMovie is free with a Mac, and so I do it with that. And a mic, I mean, they do sell mics for phones now, which I think helps. I think good audio is important. And so, yeah, you could just go from there, and that's just really about improving what you're doing.
Now, I'm gonna kind of segue away from the digital landscape and get into the actual farming of things. Now, I was recently watching your channel, and you've come up with, I don't know, is it a derivative of the design that you made at Justin Rhodes' place as far as the pig enclosures?
Right.
Now, the other people out there, they realize that we've just gotten a few pigs ourselves recently, and they're weaned, and we got them. They're growing like gangbusters. For the people out there that are thinking about doing pigs, we just talked to Pork Rind himself just a moment ago, and we learned a lot of good things about what to do and what not to do with pigs. Where do you plan on, how does that look for you? Having never raised pigs before,
Right.
Are you looking forward to it? Are you thinking it's going to be a challenge or more of a challenge? Or what are you thinking about the idea of that?
From what I hear, it's super easy to raise pigs, but then again, I don't know. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna like raising pigs, so my plan is to get 2 pigs and just regular, just fast-growing feeder pigs. Very simple, hopefully. But yeah, I created basically a high tunnel, which is like a high tunnel greenhouse, and half of it I converted it to like a pig pen, which I put some cattle panels around it. I'm gonna add, basically put deep bedding in there, which I'm gonna use wood chips, and I'm gonna keep 2 pigs in there and grow them out to probably about 7 or 8 months. And then also I plan on putting them out on grass. We're only on 1.5 acres, so I don't want them to tear up our entire yard. So my plan with that is just keep them in the pen most of the time, but occasionally take them out and let them forage and stuff like that.
Now I'm going to ask you something that's a little bit controversial when it comes to pig rearing. Now you're saying you're going to, having seen your place only on YouTube, I know that it's largely pasture, and you got some trees and stuff there.
Yeah.
But I know that one of the solutions to keep your pigs from digging in, making ruts where you don't want them, is to wring their nose, or some people get coonies. And have you thought about any of that? I mean, what are you going to do when these pigs are out there making these massive ruts in the yard?
Right.
Have you thought about how you're going to mitigate any of that, or are you concerned about mitigating?
Right. I have no idea.
That's a good start.
To be honest, I could get coonies. I heard they're good, like homesteading type pigs, but I feel like they're a big commitment because it takes longer for them to grow, and I just feel like since it's our first time, I just want something really fast growing, something I don't have to put a lot of money and feed into. I want it to be successful. And I feel like maybe the cooney is maybe the next step above that, and maybe we'll do that in the future. But I feel like right now, I really don't know. Like, I don't have experience with it. I just want to try it, feel it out, and see how it works.
Well, isn't that really the long and short of it when it comes to the homesteading journey? I mean, just like him, I grew up in the city, just like you did.
Yeah.
And at some point I had to say, and like you, I think chickens were the gateway drug for me. So you're going to have to take that risk at some point. And whether it's pigs, whether it's cattle, whether it's chickens, whether it's sheep, no matter what it is, there's going to be that fearful. I mean, do you have a certain degree of respect or fear going into the whole pig thing? Because that's a long ways away from chickens and in terms of management. Okay, so if they get out, you got issues. I mean, I'm knowing enough about you, I realize that you didn't just get in this without doing any research.
Right.
So I want to get back to the structure you have them in. Theoretically, you could leave them in that structure their entire growing lives, right?
And we may do that. Like, I may oh, you know what? I don't feel comfortable taking them out. I'm afraid they're gonna escape, and I don't want to chase them around. And we may just leave them in there. But I kind of want to try it too. Maybe we have a hill, and I'd like to use that hill someday, and maybe they could help me kind of mow down some of that grass.
They'll do that.
So
yeah.
Hopefully I can do that. But again, we'll just kind of see how it goes.
Well, let's walk us just briefly, kind of get us through what that looks like. Let's say you had them in that. How big is that structure again? It's considerably bigger than the one that was in Justin Rose's place.
Yeah, the actual pen where they're going to be in is 16 by 12.
Right, and that's a much larger than area you would need. And I would imagine if you were to leave them there that whole time, it would be 100%.
Yeah, I think it would be perfectly fine. I mean, Justin did it in a much smaller area.
And what would that look like? So I'm guessing you're putting deep bedding on them if they're not going anywhere, right?
Right. My plan is to, as they're living and as they're pooping in there, is I'm going to bring in wood chips to cover that up, like a layer of it, and keep on layering it as they're growing. But also, we're going to feed them, some food scraps probably, and feed them just like pig feed, and at the same time.
Cool. Hey, I've talked to Pork Rind about where I'm getting all my free feed.
Right.
I don't need the competition, but I'll hook you up, bro, if you need it. So, hey, folks, this was what a real pleasure for me to meet Jason and so many of the other people out here at this Organic Growers Conference in Mars Hill. And I'm looking forward to the next ones. Hopefully the coronavirus doesn't keep us away from any of the future conferences coming up here. Why don't you tell everybody where they could find you on the internet?
So we have our own Sow The Land YouTube channel, also Sow The Land on Instagram, Facebook, website.
Cool. Sow The Land. And folks, you see me wearing the shirt. The fabric's soft. That's why we got the same fabric on the Permaculture Pimp Daddy shirts, or in this particular case, the Pasture Raised Pimp. Because the shirts are soft. They're 50-50 blend. And as you know, nothing but silk touches this body. So anyway, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy from Perma Pastures Farm. We'll see you next time.